And we're live, everybody. Welcome in. It is Friday, November 17th. It's about 4 p.m. Central, and some pretty big news out of the AI world. I know many of you on my channel follow this very closely, as do I. OpenAI announces leadership transition in which Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has been fired or let go or out, depending what verbiage you want to use. Let me go ahead and read the statement from OpenAI, and then we can both have a little bit of discussion. If you have any comments or questions about this, drop them in the comment section below. I'll bring them up as we go through this, but let me get everybody up to speed first. Chief Technology Officer Mira Murati appointed interim CEO to lead OpenAI. Sam Altman departs the company. Search process underway to identify permanent successor. The board of directors of OpenAI, the 501c that acts as the overall governing body for all OpenAI activities, today announced that Sam Altman will depart as CEO and leave the board of directors. Mira Murati, the company's chief technology officer, will serve as interim CEO effective immediately. A member of OpenAI's leadership team for 5 years, Mira has played a critical role in OpenAI's evolution into a global AI leader. She brings a unique skill set, understanding of the company's values, operations, and business, and already leads the company's research, product, and safety functions. Given her long tenure and close engagement with all aspects of the company, including her experience in AI governance and policy, the board believes she is uniquely qualified for the role and anticipates a seamless transition while it conducts a formal search for a permanent CEO. Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. In a statement, the board of directors said OpenAI was deliberately structured to advance our mission to ensure that artificial intelligence benefits all humanity. The board remains fully committed to serving this mission. We are grateful for Sam's many contributions to the founding and growth of OpenAI. At the same time, we believe new leadership is necessary as we move forward. As a leader of the company's research, product, and safety functions, Mira is exceptionally qualified to step into the role of interim CEO. We have the utmost confidence in her ability to lead OpenAI during this transition period. And there's other stuff as well that's related to the transition. But yeah, so this is pretty big news coming out of the AI space. Came to shock to many. X is friggin' on fire with this thing. There's a lot of implications, but there's also a statement from Sam Altman that was also published on X about 15 minutes ago. This is Sam, the person that was let go out of OpenAI. I loved my time at OpenAI. It was transformative for me personally, and hopefully the world a little bit. Most of all, I loved working with such talented people. We'll have more to say about what's next later. This was posted at 3:46 p.m. Central, and the OpenAI AI announcement, excuse me, on November 17th, which is today, on Friday, was published around 2:30 p.m.-ish Central. So pretty big news coming out of the AI space. In case you're not familiar with OpenAI and what it is, it's the company that created ChatGPT back in the day. ChatGPT was one of its products, but OpenAI was founded back in 2015. I went to ChatGPT and asked, can you briefly explain how OpenAI was founded, in case you're not familiar with this breaking news here. OpenAI was founded in December 2015 by Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Ilya Sutskever, I'm not even going to try it. Zaremba, I'm so sorry, and John Schulman, among others. The organization began as a nonprofit artificial intelligence research company with the goal of promoting and developing friendly AI in a way that benefits humanity as a whole. The founders were motivated by a desire to guide the ethical development of technologies, particularly to ensure that they're used for positive means and mitigate risk associated with advanced systems. And there go my freaking dogs. Very excited about this. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, you guys. Can you explain? And then one of the things that has happened recently, as my dogs literally lose their minds, they're very passionate about Sam Altman leaving OpenAI. One of the things that happened recently was that OpenAI and Microsoft started working together. So OpenAI went from purely a nonprofit open source kind of way, if you can think about it, which was originally the founders' visions, into a partnership with Microsoft back in 2019, which essentially made the company closed. It closed down the company somewhat. By somewhat, I mean basically entirely. And in case you're not familiar with that, here's ChatGPT again explaining how the Microsoft and OpenAI partnership started. Microsoft and OpenAI's partnership began in 2019, marking a significant collaboration in the field of artificial intelligence. This partnership was driven by shared goals around the ethical advancement of AI and its potential to address some of the world's most pressing challenges. And some of the aspects, partnership aspects include investments by Microsoft, Azure is OpenAI's preferred cloud provider, basically a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo. But excuse me. If we go down a little bit and get into how the governing structure of OpenAI is built right now, so basically, how do OpenAI and Microsoft work together? Here's again ChatGPT explaining to us how it is governed. As of my last update in April of 2023, OpenAI's governing structure was designed to balance its profit-making capabilities with its broader ethical commitments to safe and beneficial AI development. This structure is characterized by a unique model consisting of two main entities, OpenAI Inc. and OpenAI LP. OpenAI Inc., which is the nonprofit parent entity, that 501c organization, that is the team, the board that let go of Sam Altman. And this is the parent company and operates as a nonprofit entity. This organization holds the ultimate control over OpenAI LP and is responsible for ensuring that OpenAI adheres to its mission of developing AI in a safe and beneficial manner. And then OpenAI LP is the one that's basically what they're using to partner up with Microsoft. And that's a limited partnership entity and functions as a research and development arm of OpenAI. It was established as a part of OpenAI's transition to a capped profit model in 2019, which is where that Microsoft partnership started. So just to get all of us caught up, let's go ahead and read some comments for those that are that joined us live as well. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here a little bit, because this just broke. There's a bunch of rumors floating around as to why this happened. The timing that's very curious about this from my standpoint is that there is a new competitor against ChatGPT in Grock from xAI. I highly doubt that has anything to do with this. Honestly, I just think that's a separate thing, even though that effort is led by Elon Musk, which is one of the core founders of OpenAI back in the day. But I wonder if there's more to it than it seems. It's very strange to have a letter like this that's so vaguely worded from OpenAI, especially on a Friday. Fridays are usually kept for bad news. That's when you want to announce bad news, is on a Friday. And if we sort of read this statement again, Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. And we know from ChatGPT's explanation that nonprofit entities' responsibilities, they hold the ultimate control over OpenAI LP and is responsible for ensuring that OpenAI adheres to its mission of developing AI in a safe and beneficial manner. So I wonder if the disagreement, or what sort of led to this, was because maybe Sam was not taking the proper steps to develop safe AI. That is just, if we just take it for the word, for what it's saying, then maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's why Sam Altman was let go. And there's drama between Sam Altman and Elon Musk that dates back to them founding it together, and then Sam taking it to a for-profit arm, creating a for-profit arm, and then Elon Musk being pretty upset about that. That's no secret to those that follow this space very closely. But it just, something smells weird. I see somebody in the comments section here says, fishy. Something smells fishy. There's something very fishy about this. It's we have to wait and see what else comes out. I think there's a lot of theories as far as what happened, but I can tell you that this is pretty big news. This is pretty big news when it comes to AI, because now you have the leading, call it LLM, sort of this chat capability AI thing that now doesn't have its leader in its governing body, not its for-profit arm, but in its governing body, really. And now they're putting somebody in place in the interim and bringing in somebody new. So, yeah. So let's see what kind of feedback the comment section has. I would love to hear what you have to say. Brockman stepped down as director of the board. Let me just verify that. Director of board, OpenAI. Uh, okay. Oh yeah. So this is that later in the announcement, I guess? Or is that separate? Okay, I think I see the little snippet here as well. So one of the other directors is also leaving the company. So this is from which publication is this? Let's make sure we give him credit. The New York Times. This was published at 4:13 p.m. Eastern, so it's 4:11, about an hour ago. Greg Brockman, who helped found OpenAI alongside Mr. Altman, will step down as chairman of the board, but remain in his role as president of the company, reporting to the CEO. The company said, "Okay, so that this person will step down, but they'll still work at OpenAI. Sam is completely out." But thank you for bringing that up, Senti. I think that's a helpful variable, and we have the internet to tell us the information as well. Thank you so much. And thanks to the New York Times for posting that as well. Let's see. So Donald, so he lied to the board many times. What about? I don't know if it's so much lying, but maybe it's withholding important information, or not being transparent about some of the plans he's putting together for the company. It's weird. I mean, the thing that's really weird about OpenAI is that I promise you it's not fake. It is not fake. And I know some of us are joining us a little bit later. Thank you so much for joining us. And here's again the statement from OpenAI announces leadership transition, where they asked Mr. Altman to departure. So yeah, it is quite wild. It is quite wild what's happening here. Question, bets on next CEO and ex-Microsoft leader from Ishan. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, because now OpenAI has a partnership with Microsoft, but OpenAI is pretty clear about how OpenAI dictates the partnership, not Microsoft. But it could be that Microsoft maybe has some pull, and they put somebody in place at the overarching governing body. So this sort of nonprofit that OpenAI has, they put a Microsoft leader. And if that's the case, then I think a lot of the concerns around OpenAI really being closed AI, and they've just completely transformed from what was supposed to be an open source, fully transparent AI system that ensures the safety of humanity, instead it becomes exactly the opposite. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's wild. It's really wild news. Maybe the board thinks Sam helped Elon with Grock and they're mad. I don't know about that. I think the Grock stuff is completely separate. In case you're not familiar, Grock is, again, the chatgpt competitor from xAI, which is tied to X, and it's basically a chatgpt that's built from the ground up by the X team. But again, I highly doubt there's any sort of I don't think there's anything there. There's no connection between Grock and Sam Altman leaving. So, yeah. Are there any candidates from CEO? Donald asks. None. I mean, there's an interim CEO that they've named, and she is named. What was her name again? Mira Murati, or Mira Murati. Right here, Mira Murati. So that's the interim CEO, and then they're going to get a new CEO. They're going to look for one soon. What does Altman do now? Yeah, in case you just joined us, Altman put out a statement where he said that he loved his time at OpenAI, and hopefully he changed the world a little bit, or transformed it a little bit, and then we'll have more to say about what's next later. This little piece, or salute sort of thing. So we'll see. We'll see if that's if that's the case. Elon should hire him. I think that bridge has collapsed a long time ago. Almost seems like something was hidden in the latest Microsoft. The timing seems like it was something with Microsoft. Maybe. I mean, I think the verbiage of the statement is interesting, where they specifically call out. What I find really interesting is that the statement specifically calls out why they let him go. Generally speaking, a lot of these companies just say, Sam Altman, and this is, even if you get fired, this is what usually happens. The company goes, we thank Sam for his years of experience and leadership at this company. We are very appreciative of his efforts. Thank you so much, Sam. We hope your next adventure is great. And here's our new interim CEO. You rarely have this thing where they're like, this is why we're letting this person go. That rarely happens. And that's on purpose, because what they're trying to do, they're trying not to disparage the person because of, say, bad performance, and it's probably agreed upon. The board will come to the person and be like, hey, we think it's your time, you should go, but let's get together, write a nice statement for you so you can get your next job, or we don't ruin your next gig. But the fact that OpenAI, again, very specifically called out, departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. Basically, what this says is that Sam was on purpose trying to prevent us from doing our job, and they made this public. That's damning. And I don't know what it's related to, but companies rarely do that. I mean, rarely, if ever. And what's even more interesting is that Sam has a relatively positive, I would say, outside of certain circles. People don't view him necessarily super negatively, maybe unless you're in specific AI circles. But the fact that they came out and made the statement the way they did, I mean, he was literally just on Joe Rogan like last month, Sam was. And, he was lauded. They had the OpenAI day not a few days ago with developers and stuff. So it's like, wow, the fact that you're calling him out like that is crazy. Far's almost too good at that firing script. Oh, yeah, thanks. I think I know what you mean. Yo, let me send you a link in case you want to jump on. I would love to hear your take. If you have time, Yash. If you don't, that's completely fine. We'll turn this into a discussion. Where are you at? Let me see. There we go. In case you have time. If you don't, I understand, but you should come out if you can. And then, yeah, he was also on Lex Friedman. He had a good conversation with Lex, and again, it seemed very amicable. It seemed like people really respected Sam, and yeah, it's wild. Money talks, and Microsoft had wanted him gone as he was holding them back. I don't know what OpenAI was doing that was holding Microsoft back. To be honest, I think OpenAI has been moving quite quickly. If maybe this is Microsoft's way of trying to gain control from the company, then maybe, but I'm not quite sure. We have to remember that the board that made this decision, based on their prospectus, like how they're actually governing themselves, Microsoft has zero influence. This is what they're saying. So I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that this is Microsoft's influence. There might be something that he was doing with Microsoft or maybe another company where the governing body was like, yo, this is not good. You shouldn't be doing this. This is going to jeopardize the technology. And then that board made a decision to let him go. Which honestly, if he really was acting in a way that made the artificial intelligence, like for some reason there was a lack of safety, like let's say, I don't know, he was talking with maybe governments or entities that would use the technology for bad, let's say, and he wasn't being transparent with the board about that, and the board said, you know what, you are not taking the right actions, I'm going to let you go, then is that really a bad thing? But I'm just speculating. Here. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he basically lied to the board. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what the statement says. Lied, lack of information, withholding information on purpose. Yeah, it's quite interesting. What did they consider a lie? Was he hiding a failsafe? Yeah, I don't know. Again, if I highlight the sentence, consistently candid within his communications with the board, which he was not, He was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. Yeah, I don't know. He was dishonest, and the board showed him who was boss. Literally, unfortunately, and you hate to see a guy lose his job, honestly. Like, I'm not here like celebrating this. I'm just here bringing it forward to you and trying to give you some context as to why it happened. But it is very interesting in this sort of day and age that we live. Like, OpenAI's influence is massive, truly, because OpenAI and Grock and all these companies, they have the keys to the technology that's going to allow the economy to explode upwards in the next 10 to 20 years. I mean, this is the next exponential curve up for humans, is artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence. So when the dude that is at the helm, basically, of the most advanced version of that today is fired because he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities, that gives you a little bit of a pause. But it also may mean that, hey, the governing body is set up correctly in case something mischievous was happening. Or there could be something else. You know, I'm seeing rumors, like some crazy rumors on X, and I'm not going to mention them here because they are quite, I want to let the due process go through, but it could be something else as well. It could be something else as well. So considering how Altman took OpenAI in the opposite direction than which it was founded upon, it's perhaps poetic justice that he's been torpedoed by the board. And this is sort of what critics of Sam are saying, where this is almost like karma, you know, and again, I'm not taking one side or the other, but it's almost like karma because he took a nonprofit, completely open company. He makes it so that it is for profit, at least part of it is, and it's still dubious how that whole thing is built. And then the board of the nonprofit decides to get rid of the guy that made the decision to take it for profit. It is, yeah. Again, as long as that was actually what happened, which seems like it is. So, okay, let's see. The last GPT update was quite disruptive, and while I think it makes the technology more available, it was disruptive, and even without being a more advanced model, it's disruptive. Yeah. I don't think this has anything to do with the actual performance of the product. This is much more, it seems a lot deeper than that. It seems like it's not even strategic. It's almost like it could be strategic. It could be just Sam is doing stuff rogue, and he's withholding information from the board, and the board is like, dude, like this is not how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to be transparent here. We got the keys to some very powerful stuff, and that's like, this is the overarching theme. And I think this is what I think very few people, like when I say very few people, I mean people that are not like incredible crazy nerds like we are, that just like we're just stuck here for some reason or another, just like basking in the craziness that is artificial intelligence. This is like the next huge thing. And this is a very big deal within the context of that. Whoever governs or has control over these artificial intelligence technologies are going to have a tremendous amount of power, And it's not reserved to just how ChatGPT is doing today, but it's much more about how can artificial intelligence change the world in the next 10 to 20 years, where the foundation is right now. This is the foundation for that next 10 to 20 years. So, yeah, I think it has a lot more to that. Let's see. This is clearly a political move. There are two aspects I see. One, AGI per contract is not an IP that Microsoft can share, and Microsoft may want to acquire ChatGPT, which Sam may not wanting open source at all. Yeah, again, the organization that let go Sam, that let Sam go, Grammar, was the nonprofit organization, which Microsoft, in theory, has zero control over. So I don't think it's Microsoft dictating this. This is OpenAI's nonprofit board that is dictating this. At least the way I'm reading it, right? You could be wrong. You could be right, MV. I could be wrong. But this is how I'm reading it. Prior to Microsoft's greater influence, Sam's interviews began to change about 5 to 6 months ago. I noticed he became forthcoming, and he looked like a person with his hands tied. Interesting. Okay. I mean, it seems like more and more folks are bringing up the whole Microsoft, and there's a Microsoft angle here. But again, then I guess what's interesting about this is not consistently candid in his communications with the board and hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board's responsibilities, in theory, shouldn't be to handle their relationship with Microsoft directly. It's about ensuring that the technology is safe and maximally useful. Because the LP side of the business, sort of this for-profit arm, theoretically would be the one that could be influenced by Microsoft. But I mean, I do get your point. Excuse me, Darby. I do get your point where this is where this whole thing gets really hairy. Because now and MV as well, as they were mentioning it, you're transitioning away from an organization that was initially meant to be completely open source, completely transparent, and now it's this weird just thing where when something like this happens, all of us are like, whoa, what happened? Did Microsoft really, did Microsoft go in and actually have a hand in letting Sam go? Is the nonprofit arm really, does it really have its own control? Are they really not able to be influenced by corporations that they partner with? And if corporations can influence these nonprofit organizations that theoretically are trying to keep AI as safe as possible, then isn't that a giant conflict of interest when it comes to ensuring that the technology is actually maximally safe? And I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If there's one person today that's probably a little bit vindicated by this whole thing, it's probably Elon Musk, because he's been sort of on this train of, hey, this is like wrong. This is wrong. It's like, this is strange. And I'm not saying Sam leaving is that the thing that vindicates him, but like the vagueness of what's going on, I think highlights how weird it is to have something like the OpenAI and Microsoft relationship, where folks feel that the private company can have so much influence on how that artificial intelligence could be governed, given that AI has its own governing body that is supposed to be completely neutral, versus something like a Microsoft, right? Where it governs itself based on its overarching premise of being safe for humanity and all this stuff. So I meant less forthcoming, and ad shocked me while typing. Got it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Cool. All right. We'll call it there. Hopefully this was helpful in some way, get you guys up to speed. Definitely love the conversation. Thank you all for joining us live. And if you're on recording, I hope this was helpful as well. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you